Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, from darkness to knowledge, and from mortality to the immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. My dear devotees, we were discussing discrimination between self and non-self. Atma, Anatma, Viveka. Already, I think in one of the classes I told, the main technique of teaching Advaita Vedanta, the non-dualistic philosophy, is Adhyaropa and Apavada. That is superimposition and desuperimposition. The moment when we understand this technique properly, then the teachings, the art of process adopted by non-dualistic philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, you'll be able to understand. And why the author is telling this particular point, what is his intention in explaining these things, and why after explaining or after accepting particular view, then why is he refuting? Initially itself, he could have said these points, he could have said straight away, no, or we don't accept it. All these things properly you'll be able to understand and you'll be able to appreciate. So the technique is called superimposition and desuperimposition. That means what? Probably in the olden days, or olden days in the sense, maybe 3-4 decades before, in India especially, when we were small, we used to go into the playgrounds to play. There used to be mud or soil or sand especially. And using that sand, we used to build a small house or a castle, or with the small rocks, if available. Using them, we used to build a small houses like. And we used to play in that. Okay, this will be the shrine room, this will be the bedroom, this will be the playroom. And we used to play for half an hour, 1 hour or 2 hours. Then when parents or elders called, or when the time is over, where we have to leave, most of the time, we ourselves used to destroy it. We ourselves used to break away all the house and castles we ever built using the sand and the small stones. We used to break them and go away with happily. Then if a wise man or intelligent man or a grown-up man, if he sees that, these people, they spent a lot of time in building in this house made up of sand or rocks, and happily, without feeling anything, simply they broke and they went away. What is this? They build that just for play. After the play, when they're going back to the home, just happily, with that innocence, they broke and they went away. So even the Advaitin, the philosopher of non-dualistic philosopher, his idea of explaining all the things about who is God, who am I, and what is this world, and how this world came into existence, and what are the relationships between these three things, how this matter came into existence, who created, how it was created, when it was created. All these things are discussed initially. The nature of God, the nature of individual self, and the nature of the world and its products. After describing all these three things, this is what superimposition. Why they have to do that? Because how much ever we say that I alone exist, conscious alone exist, initially, in the beginning, in the preliminary stage, we'll not be able to understand and will not be able to appreciate. So the author or the philosophers, they try to take us from wherever we are. By explaining all these things, we will get a fair idea, fair knowledge about these three things at broad canvas. Once explaining and our intellectual hunger is fulfilled, intellectual inquisitiveness is quenched, then slowly they will start withdrawing. They will slowly start breaking their own theories. Then it will not be a rude shock for us. then slowly our mind will be able to, our intellect will be able to understand why this is happening. And slowly, we will come to the source and understand consciousness alone exists and there is nothing else. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. In the world, whatever exists, it is with the consciousness alone, or it is with full of consciousness alone, or it is with soaked with consciousness alone. Even we can see in the life of Swami Vivekananda. Previous time I narrated this story. When Swami Vivekananda was heard, when Swami Vivekananda heard as a young Naren from Sri Ramakrishna, that look, whatever the cart and the jug and the kettle, I, you, everyone, everything is Brahman. He laughed at it. He mocked at it. He went outside and probably had a small, smoking with a Hazara, one of his friends sort of, and he started making a joke. Look, this Sri Ramakrishna is telling that everything is Brahman, everything is Atman, it seems. I think he has got some imbalance of the mind. He lost his senses like that. And Sri Ramakrishna asked, what are you speaking, Naren? Naren said, yes, we were joking about your sentences, Advaitic statements. Then Sri Ramakrishna tested him because of his divine power, spiritual power. Swami Vivekananda was able to see, he was able to experience that consciousness is pervaded everything. Everything is pervaded by consciousness. He was not able to eat. He was not able, though he was able to see the railings of the park, he was not able to feel that there is a railings actually. It is just a name and form for him. So all these ideas for us, it is a theory probably for us. Once we experience, then it becomes true or reality. That is from experience point of view. Even from knowledge point of view, our mind will not be capable of accepting the sublime truths at inception. So to make us to prepare, to make our mind subtle enough to understand the sublime truths, they keep on explaining. So till 86th verse, they explained these three things: entities, individual self, supreme self, and the world, and its products, and the relationship. Afterwards, they started explaining, discriminating between matter and consciousness. Look, this whole world is made up of matter from 5 elements: space, earth, fire, water, and air. All these things comes under the category of matter. And your body, it is also made of these 5 elements. It also belongs to the category of matter. So you are the consciousness, and this body is made up of matter, and this world is made up of matter. So you are different from this matter, which is body and which is the world. So you are the consciousness, and the world is made up of matter, and the body is made up of matter. So you are not the matter. So with giving so many types of explanations, with so many examples, they started explaining. So discrimination between matter and soul or spirit or consciousness. So initially, when the discrimination started as a process, both were true for us. Yes, there is a matter, entity, and there is a consciousness. I am the consciousness, but I am not the matter. Then slowly, when they advance, when they progress in their analogy, then they said, look, matter actually doesn't exist at all. Why? Because it has got a borrowed existence from the consciousness. Just like golden earring, golden nose ring, necklace, golden bracelet, all these things, different types of golden ornaments are there, but the existence has been borrowed from the gold. The moment we remove the gold from all these things, what happens? All these ornaments ceases to exist. But because of its function, because of its shape, it has got a name, it has got a form, no doubt. And from functional aspect, we have to accept it. Where things cannot be interchanged, no doubt. But the existence of this golden earring, nose ring, necklace, or whatever, all this existence is borrowed from the gold. So all these things, it has got only name and form. Gold is appearing in the name and form. So giving such type of examples, even the consciousness is appearing as the matter because matter doesn't have its own existence. It has got a borrowed existence. Means matter is unreal. Matter is an appearance. Matter has got only name and form. It doesn't have its independent existence. Then slowly they said, matter doesn't exist. And afterwards they said, consciousness and consciousness alone exist. If at all, then what about this world? Consciousness is an appearing as the world. And you are that consciousness, and consciousness alone is true. So here, to this point, the author has brought us now. Aham asmi Brahma. I am that Brahman. It is individual point of view. From the cosmic point of view, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Whatever exists in this world, everything is pervaded by, or everything is consciousness alone in reality. Now, how to understand? Probably one more example I will give. The water and wave example. I think even in my previous talk also, I did explain this. Oh, there are small waves. We enjoyed. There are little medium-sized waves. The people who has got a lot of fear of death or phobia, they come away. The people who have got little brave, they will be playing with that, even the middle-sized waves. If the waves are very huge, then I think most of us, except either who are good at swimming in the sea, otherwise, most of us will become running away because they can drag us into the ocean and we may die. Small waves, middle-sized waves, and big waves, bigger waves, biggest waves. There are so many different types of waves, and we enjoyed, and we see, we experienced. But afterwards, if you see, the water itself is appearing in these different sizes, and we say small, big, bigger, biggest, which is very comparative. Does the wave exist independently? No. But immediately if I ask, everyone says, yes, Swamiji, wave exists independently. Then I say, my dear, you remove the water. You remove the water, then where does wave exist? Then we scratch our head and we say, yes, if you remove the water, wave cannot exist independently. So wave in particular form it takes, and we have given a particular name for that, that's all. So wave doesn't have its independent existence, it has borrowed existence, and the water is alone real. So similarly, consciousness alone is real, it has its existence-ness, that is what called Sat. And this Sat has been borrowed, matter has borrowed this existence-ness, and it appears to exist. So this is the stage, this ideal stage, or idea stage we are living now. In Aparokshanubhuti, we have to be clear. Now, after explaining this, the question may come to us. Okay, now I understand that Aham asmi Brahma means I am that Brahman. I am that consciousness. In essence, in reality, my real nature is consciousness. Then what happens to this world? This world gets destroyed? Or there will be change in the world? Or the world ceases to exist? Or the world continues as it was continuing before my realization, before my understanding, before my experience of the consciousness? This question can come for us. So in the 87th verse, the author is trying to answer this particular question. Evam atma anya vidyato dehadhyaso hi jayate sa eva atma parignanat liyate cha paramatmani. Thus, through ignorance arises in Atman the delusion of the body, which again, through self-realization, disappears in the Supreme Atman. So this world, this body, whatever is separated, its existence, the reality of its existence, all things gets disappeared the moment when I realize who am I. So this is what happens to the individual. Then what happens at the cosmic level? The world continues to exist as it was. There will be no change much probably in the world, but only my perception, my understanding, my reaction towards the world changes. This is what has been told very clearly in this verse. The world doesn't change substantially, but only my perception and my reaction to the world changes. I think this is the one standard statement of me. This, I think, one Jew saint or a Jew philosopher's prayer it is. Oh God, I am intelligent. Please give me energy to change the world. Oh God, I am intelligent. So please give me enough energy so that I can change the world. He was praying and he was trying to change the world. He was trying to change the world. He was trying to change the world. After some time, he said, "Oh God, now I have become wise man. Please give me the enough strength to change myself. Oh God, now I have become a wise man. Please give me enough strength to change myself." So this is what the world is superimposed. The world is adhyasa. The world is subjective, and so I have to remove that superimposition, the layer of ignorance which is covered my mind. Once it is removed, then I can be happy. There may not be change in the world or in the people or in the external circumstances. We are always busy in that. But actually, if there is a change, internal change, then that is what enough. And Advaita drives us to get this internal change so that we stop reacting towards the world. We stop reacting towards the people. We stop reacting towards the situations. That means, will he become like a stone-like? Will he become like a insentient, non-living? No, we means we don't get perturbed. We don't get bothered. We don't get changed. Now, good, bad, right, wrong, everything will shake us. For an example, I think in this week, there is a lot of discussion happening that there can be inflation. I mean, recession. It can be a very big recession in Europe and USA and all. So many industries and all, like even in India and US and all, big industries, they started thinking about it. They started to fire the, employees. And obviously people get disturbed, no doubt. And it can lose, it can make them, the people to lose their sleep. The stress level can increase. All these things can happen, no doubt, as a product, as a reaction. But the knower of Brahman, the realized man, the situation may come to him also, but he doesn't react, he responds. So this qualitative change or subjective change it brings him by studying Advaita, that he responds, he doesn't react. Now, that's the one big question always in Indian philosophy. This karma, karma doctrine is very, very important. Why? Because the whole life is based on our actions. The big question is there in a lot of our scriptures, Indian scriptures, this has been discussed. Now, after the realization, whether the realized person will be working similarly, and whatever the fruits of action is there in him, what will happen to him? So this big question is there always. So karma doctrine is very strong in Indian philosophy, and it is very scientific and very rational too. For that question, in the 88th verse, it has been answered. Sarvamatmataya gnatam jagat stavaram jangamam abhavat sarva bhavanam dehasya chatmata kutaham. Oh, sorry, I think that is in next verse, next 89th. Now he's telling different thing here. When the whole universe, movable and immovable, is known to be Atman, and thus the existence of everything else is negated, where is there any room to say that the body is Atman? Body doesn't have Atman. Atman is having the body. So these are the big difference we have to understand. We feel that body has got a Atman. No, Atman has a body. So here they are saying that when the moment you understand that consciousness alone exists, there's nothing else, and all else is appearance, then how can you say that body has got a Atman or body is Atman? There is no chance at all. There is no place at all that matter has got a consciousness, or no, consciousness has got matter, or rather consciousness is appearing as the matter. And even in the Upanishad, there's a beautiful statement, even like galaxies. There's a Milky Way galaxies, nebula, and there are so many galaxies which are very huge in size. But for the Gnani, it appears like a air bubble, it seems. Because the consciousness is such a wide, it is such a omniscient, it is such a, huge. It is not an object, of course, it is a subject. For him, even the Gnani, even the galaxy also, it appears as air bubble. How? There's a huge banyan tree, Like 100 people can sit, or 100 to 200 people can sit. But as a person is flying in the plane, then if he sees the same banyan tree, it appears like a small object. So from which place, from which angle, from which standpoint you are seeing, it makes a lot of difference. So similarly, for Gnani, the whole galaxy appears as a bubble, like that the experience has been narrated in Upanishads. So once the moment you understand, who am I, or that I am that consciousness, I am that existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, then everything is only consciousness. There is no matter and there is no world exists in reality. That is what in 88th verse he has told the author. In the 89th onwards, he starts a new concept about the fruits of actions and its results. From 89th, he makes an introduction. After 9 verses, he speaks of prarabdha karma. It is a new concept. Atmanam satatat janan kalam naya mahadyute prarabdha makilam bunjet nadvegam kartumaharasi. O enlightened ones, pass your time always contemplating an Atman while you are experiencing all the results of prarabdha, for it will become you to feel distressed. Probably first I have to tell you what is prarabdha, what is agami sanchita. Of course, whoever has followed my Tattvabodha lectures, you will be knowing by this time. Just for the new listeners, just I will tell in a snapshot. We have got karma, actions. Whatever actions we do, it produces results. If I do good actions, it produces results, good results. That is called virtue or punya. And when I do bad actions, it produces results. That is called papa, or that is called vice. Of course, because I don't use the word sin, because in the Christian theology, sin has got a different connotations and denotation. So I say use vice, V-I-C-E. Now, in this, in Sanatana Dharma, or in Indian theology or Indian philosophy, and also in Hinduism, we believe in rebirth. Now, today, whatever I am, that is the result of my past actions, either in this life and also in my previous lives. And now whatever I am doing, that will result in my future life and future lives too. Now in my previous lives, I have done some actions, then actions results are there, and that results has been stored in my account. That is called prarabdha karma. Means the results of my past actions which are stored in me, in my account. That is called sanchita karma. From that, I have withdrawn some portion of the results for this present life. That is called prarabdha karma. And now whatever I am doing actions and whatever the results I am getting, deposited in my life of account, that is called agami karma. Probably I'll give a simple example you will be able to understand. Now, from 5 years, I am working. So every month, I am getting, say, 300 euros, 300 or 500 euros. And 300, 500 euros, I am getting among the 200 or 300 euros, I am spending it for my day-to-day affairs. Then 100 or 200 euros was left out. Then I am depositing in my bank account. Fine. So much amount, probably maybe 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000, 30,000 euros has been deposited in my bank account. Now I wanted to go to Europe too. I wanted to go for Germany, Switzerland, or Paris, France, and some other places. So I need money. So I withdrew 2,000 euros, or 2,000 euros I withdrew for my trip expenses. And if say 20,000 euros are there in my bank account, 2,000 euros I have withdrawn. Whatever I withdrawn from the bank, 2,000 euros, this is what called prarabdha karma. And 18,000 euros which are deposited, which are available in my account, that is what called sanchita karma. And I will be continuous to work from home is there now option. So I'll be working even. So every month, whenever I work, after the end of my month or the next month itself, I will be getting again fresh salary. That is called agami karma or agami karma phala. So here they're talking about prarabdha karma. Means I withdrew 2,000 euros. Fine. Now I became a realized person. I became a knower of Brahman. So what will happen to my 2000 euros? This is what the question here. Because 18,000 euros, which is in bank account, and which I am going to get fresh salary from the next month onwards, we are not discussing, we are not bothered much about it. Here only we are bothered about, we are concerned about, say I withdrew 2000 euros from my bank, I have got 2000 euros in my hand, but I have become the knower of Brahman, I have realized who am I, then what will happen to my 2000 euros? This is what the question. So here it is Shankaracharya, author, will try to explain. Now, what is the standpoint of Advaita philosophy, the non-dualistic philosophy? They say, the moment when we understand who am I, or the moment when I experience who am I, the moment when I realize who am I am that Sat, Chit, Ananda, or consciousness, bliss absolute, existence absolute. My Sanchita karma, the deposited results of action, gets destroyed, gets nullified, gets cancelled because of my knowledge, self-knowledge. Self-knowledge, not of any other knowledge. And because the moment I have understood who am I will have the sense of doership and the enjoyership. So there will be no fresh accumulation of karma. So Agami and Sanchita, which is stored and which can be the future actions result, these two things cannot happen. But whatever I have withdrew 2000 euros, that has to be spent. So for this particular life, whatever I had been withdrew for this particular life, the prarabdha karma, that's the result of my previous actions, which was withdrawn for my present life, that has to be experienced. Either it is the result of good karma or it is the result of bad karma, good action or bad action. The results will be good and bad. That is suffering and enjoying. That has to be enjoyed or that has to be experienced. This is the stand, generally accepted stand of the Advaita philosophy in particular and in Indian philosophy in general. Now, but the author, he put some few questions. It is from which point of view, and before that, what happens, all these things he is trying to tell. Now I am the knower of the Brahman. Fine. Now I was using for example, mobile. I was using the mobile earlier. Now I became the knower of Brahman. Now also I have to use the mobile because, say for example, I have to speak with the Dharmat. I have to call, I have the knower of Brahman, saying that, okay, call Dharmat like that. I cannot say. However, either you are the knower of Brahman or you are not the knower of Brahman. However, you are supposed to use the mobile. You are supposed to use the mobile in a similar way. But the difference will be attachment. Earlier, probably I was attached to mobile. Now I'm no more attached to the mobile because I understood that I'm consciousness. So that functional aspect, functional transactions will not change actually. But only thing, I will stop valuing or I will stop giving the existence to the mobile. It is just a matter. It is an instrument. It is a weapon for communication. That's all we understand. We don't get anymore attached to this. So this change will happen. So you may be experiencing the happiness, or you may be experiencing the unhappiness. You may be experiencing the joy. You may be experiencing the sorrow. Depends on your prarabdha karma, depends on your fruits of actions, but you will not be perturbed, or he or she will not be perturbed because he or she is the knower of Brahman then. So since you have become the knower of Brahman, then why do you get boggled for all these things? That is what the Advaitic standpoint of view means. For a Gnani, it doesn't matter whether it is a joy or a sorrow or a profit or a loss. It doesn't make. It is only transactions for him. He is not moved away. He is not perturbed by these things. Only it matters for the Agnani. It is only for the ignorant person it matters whether it exists for the knowledgeable person, realized person, whether the prarabdha exists or not, it only matters for him. But for the knower of the Brahman, for the realized person, it doesn't matter because he is not perturbed, he is not moved, he is not disturbed from any of these things. Why? Because he has come to that emotional and spiritual maturity, let go things. Like, this is one statement which I always speak. travel, what enables Advaita in us? Advaita enables us to travel from what to so what. What? It did happen like this. He spoke like this. She spoke like this. What? It happened like this. We all express this type of, but the realized person, oh, is it? So what? It appears so simple. Only so is only difference, external difference, but mentally, from perception point, from experience point of view, it makes a difference of heaven and hell. So Advaita enables an individual to travel from what to so what. Now he is a gnani. As for a gnani, whether prarabdha exists or not, whether agami exists or not, sanchita exists or not, whether the fruits of action of this present life or previous life, future life, whether it exists or not, it doesn't make any sense for him. It doesn't bring any difference for him, because he doesn't give any value, because it doesn't, it lose its existence. Then these discussions, then why the author is doing? Because these questions we have got. This question, who has got this question? The realized person has he got a question? No, definitely he will not have this question. Only the people, the ignorant people will have, okay, a gnani, he gets a more, he's a realized person. For him, what will happen? The fruits of results of his previous karmas. So this question is there only for ignorant person. So to quench the inquisitiveness or the knowledge hunger of the ignorant person, these things are discussed. These things doesn't matter for knowledgeable person at all. For the knower of Brahman, these things doesn't matter. Only for the ignorant person, to quench his hunger, intellectual hunger, these things are discussed. So this we have to understand. Why? Because knowledge doesn't change the experience, but it helps to change the attitude towards experience. What is that? What to so what. It may not bring the change in the situation, but it brings the change in responding, reacting towards the people and towards the changes. And probably this was the great teaching. One of the great life lessons was given by Naren's father, Vishwanath, to his son, Naren. He said, look, in the world, in your life, whatever it may come, never express amazement, astonishment. Oh, is it? Can it happen like this? It looks very simple statement, but it has got a lot of profound meaning in that it is a Vedantic truth actually, according to me. Why? Because yes, things are possible in this world of cause and effect relationship, in the theory of causation, in this world of cause and effect, anything can happen. There is nothing, nothing strange. So you don't get shocked by that. You don't get perplexed by that. You don't be astonished by this. And that is the stand of whom? That is the stand of Gnani, the knower of Brahman. Now, in the 90th sloka, he says that what will happen to the Gnani about Prarabdha, Agami, Sanchita, and he takes a very different type of stand in the 90th verse. Probably till now in the Viveka Chudamani or in the Upanishads or in the even the Gita commentary, when Adi Shankaracharya writes, he had taken a particular stand. But here he takes a very different stand, which is very new, which was even very new to me also in this particular verse. Utpannepi Atma Vignane Prarabdham Naiva Munchati Iti Yat Shruyate Shastre Tannirakriyate Aduna. Means the theory, one hears of from the scriptures that the prarabdha, the results of past actions, does not lose its hold upon one, even after the origination of the knowledge of Atman is being refuted now. So from the 90th onwards, 90th verse to 99th verse, he discusses about this prarabdha karma. So here it is only statement. After in the next coming verses, he starts refuting it. He says that, yes, there is an accepted truth. For a gnani, the prarabdha karma only exists. That is the results of the past actions, which was to be taken in the present life, which was to be experienced in the present life. Yes, it has to be experienced by the gnani, even though now he is a realized person. But the prarabdha and sanchita, the results of past actions, the results of future actions will be completely destroyed and avoided. So this is the standard accepted theory. Yes, that is true. But this is for whom? From Gnani point of view, one is Vyavaharika Satya, that is transactional truth. Then there is a Paramarthika Satya, transcendental truth. From the transactional truth, there is a prarabdha karma, there is a fruits of action, results of fruits of action, which has to be experienced and all these things. But from the transcendental reality point of view, when there is only consciousness, then where is the question of experiencing? Where is the question of experiencing the results of fruits of action? Where is the question of suffering and enjoying? Because the suffering and enjoying, this duality comes only to the mind, not for the self. Consciousness never enjoys, consciousness never suffers. Conscious is never happy, conscious is never unhappy. Why? The nature of the consciousness, the Atman, is always blissful. So just like someone asked the sun, "Oh sun, my dear sun, can you explain how the darkness is there? How the darkness? What do you mean by darkness?" Then the sun said, "In my whole life, I have tried much, my dear boy, but I could never see the darkness." Why? Because the moment sun comes, there will be no darkness. Darkness is absent. So the sun never knew, or the sun never could understand his whole of his life what is darkness. So similarly, if you say that your consciousness, your existence, and your bliss absolute, that is Satchita Ananda, your Ananda Swarupa bliss, you are the form of bliss, your nature is bliss, then where is the question of suffering and where is the question of enjoy? Where is the question of profit and where is the question of loss? Where is the question of happy and where is the question of morose? All these dualities belong to mind and body, but not with the soul or not with the consciousness. So that's what author is taking the stand. This prarabdha karma, whether it has to be experienced by the realized person or not, whether it exists for him or not, whether the fructification of the prarabdha karma has to happen or not, all these things belong to the world, this dual world. To this transactional reality, to this transactional world it exists. And this is also for only, these things matters only from the point of Ajnani or from the point of unrealized person. From the realized person, neither exists Agami karma, Prarabdha karma, Sanchita karma, neither the world. So for him, everything is consciousness alone. So from the Paramarthika Satya, from the realized person point of view, from the transcendental reality point of view, nothing exists. But still, you people have got a doubt. You people have got a question. As a result, I am telling, for the ignorant person point of view, these things are told, not from the realized person's point of view. This is told very clearly. From Jnani point of view, there is no Agami karma, there is no Prarabdha karma, there is no Sanchita karma for him, because for him consciousness alone exists. And only from Ajnani point of view, from ignorant person point of view, if you ask for him, yes, Agami and Sanchita is not there, Prarabdha is there. Till experiencing that Prarabdha karma, his body stays. His body stays. After once his Prarabdha karma is experienced, then he leaves his body, or this physical body leaves, and the subtle body and causal body gets merged or dissolved in the consciousness. That's the reason he doesn't have any more birth and death. Even you see, a realized person, he will not have any more birth. How rational and how scientific. Why, if say I'm a realized person, after my realization, after my death, again, death is for physical body, no doubt. What happens? Why I will not born again? Because they say in Advaita Vedanta, the moment I realize, until this Prarabdha karma is there, I will be living in this body. The moment my Prarabdha karma is over, I leave this body. I leave this body means what? The subtle body and the causal body is supposed to leave this physical body, and it was supposed to enter the new womb, new mother's womb. But the moment when I realize I'm a realized person, so the fructification or the final finishing of, after the experiencing of Prarabdha karma, the subtle body gets merged in the causal body gets merged in the consciousness. So consciousness is ever existing everywhere. So that's the reason I will be not having any more entering to the new mother's womb, and there will be no birth. Since there is no birth, there is no death also. Such a scientific analysis has been given, such a scientific, rational analysis is given from Advaita.
Swami,
yeah, just one or two sentences are there. I will finish it and I will allow you to.
Okay. I might forget, but.
Yeah. So whether this prarabdha is there or not, it only matters from the Agnani point of view, from the ignorant person point of view, from the religious person point of view, there nothing exists. Say for an example, we can take the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna, we all know that 1886 he passed away. Before his passing away, say 4 or 5 years before, even before coming his disciples, all his disciples, lay disciples or monastic disciples, he had told to his spiritual consort, Sri Sharda Devi, look, there are few incidents will happen. When these incidents will happen, know it for certain that my end has come. The end has come to this body. In no time, I will be leaving this mortal coil. I will be leaving this mortal coil. So then slowly, things one after another, it started happening after 4 or 5 years. Then as naturally, Holy Mother got concerned. That means what? My husband, Sri Ramakrishna, will be no more in short while, after some time, or maybe after a few months. As usually, as just like any human being, even she also got disturbed. Then she thought she should do something. Then she thought, okay, I will do some fasting and I will take some resolve and I will do fasting. And she went to Tarakeshwar Mandir. It is a Shiva temple in Bengal, India. And she said, I want the answer and I want an assurance from you so that my, husband's life span should be increased or for whatever the reason. So till I get an assurance from you, Lord Shiva, I will not take a single drop of water and I will fast and I'll be meditating on you or I'll be thinking on you. Saying that she took a resolve, firm resolve, and she started fasting. After a day, probably, or two, she got a dream. She got a vision that she was lying in the Tarakeshwara temple. She got a vision that someone is breaking the pot. Someone is breaking the pot. She got this dream. Once she got this dream, she got up, she took all her belongings, and she came back to Dakshineshwar. And Sri Ramakrishna, he knew all these things. He asked, what happened? My dear ones, what happened? You went for something. What happened? But he laughingly, he asked Mother Sharda Devi, Holy Mother, simply, she kept her head down and she went inside the room, her room. Means Sri Ramakrishna was aware that what will happen, he was aware. From Sri Ramakrishna's point of view, that is. From Mother's point of view, there was a dream, someone is breaking the just pot. Mud pot there was there. So someone is breaking the mud pot. That's what the dream she got. From this, she simply came away to Dakshineshwar. Why? That means what? This is called Ghatakasha, means which is in Vedanta. Means the space has been, there's a wonderful space outside. The space has been limited by a pot. There is a space outside, there is a space inside. So the external space and the space inside the pot has been separated, like from the layer of this clay, mud, that is what Gata or pot, the space inside the pot. Once you break the pot, the inside space which was existing inside the pot and which was outside the pot, both got merged. Fine. Then the question comes, was it two separate things? It was never separate. Only this pot was making, it was appearing that because of pot, the space inside the pot and the space outside the pot, it was appearing that it is two things, but in reality, it is not so. Similarly, Mother also understood from her dream that, okay, Sri Ramakrishna may leave this mortal coil. In essence, it is not his real form, or in reality, he is not this mere physical body, he is that consciousness. And consciousness has never death, neither it has got a birth nor a death. The birth and death is only for this physical body. So she understood the final answer, and she came back. So all these discussions, it is only from the Agnani point of view, from the person who is supposed to know the truth for his point of view. From the realized person point of view, there is no birth, there is no death. There is no happiness, there is no unhappiness. Means what? This thing doesn't exist for him. It exists for him, but he doesn't get perturbed. He doesn't get changed. He doesn't get moved by this. He doesn't get tainted or soaked by these things. That's what we mean. So that means then whether it exists or not, in reality, again, this question too, it may exist in our mind. For this, logical answers are given from the 91st verse. We shall try to understand that in the forthcoming classes. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Yes, Dermot, please go ahead with your question now.
I'm not sure I remember now, but does it, you know, so like for a realized person, that their subtle body and their causal body have after death, they've been voided. They no longer. So what, you know, maybe now I'm misremembering, but I thought that sometimes that an avatar might, I don't know what way to say, but that they would have a post the death of their body, they'd be still in some realm where people can address them, or, you know, where they will remain. I thought in the case, now I could be totally misremembering because it's a long time ago, but I thought that somewhere along the line I heard that Ramakrishna would be, you know, for want of a better phrase, this is only a poetic expression, he'd be in the ether for so long, as, you know, so that the way it was put, or the way I maybe misunderstood it, was that there'd still be, you know, that he would still have an influence with, you know, for his devotees, even after his post, you know, his post-mortem, you know, after he died. Simple language, yeah.
You are right, Dermot. You are not misremembered, or you are not misheard. You are right. It's a beautiful question, in fact. In the Sankhya philosophy and in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra also, these things are discussed. They even forget about Ramakrishna, even, I mean, Avatara Purushas or incarnations. Even the great sages, saints, who has got a lot of yogic powers, I mean, they are called Adhikarika Purushas. Adhikarika Purushas means, say, for an example, now after the understanding that who am I would like to exist in subtle form. If someone wishes, they can exist. They get merged with the nature, with the Prakriti.
Oh, yes.
Till the end of that particular cycle of probably the world, till it ceases to exist. That is called Mahapralaya, dissolution of the particular cycle of the creation.
Cycle, yeah.
Till then, in the subtle form, they can exist. They can help the people, and they can enjoy the world in the sense, in the positive way I'm saying, not in the materialistic sense.
Yeah.
In the spiritual sense I'm saying, they can experience that form of consciousness or Purusha or whatever. And once the cycle is dissolved, the cycle of creation is dissolved, they also gets dissolved.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That is an Adhikarika Purusha. Now,
yeah.
When I say that after the death of a Brahmagnani, knower of Brahman, his subtle body will get, his physical body falls here only. That becomes the part and parcel of the mud, no doubt. Now the subtle body gets merged in the causal body, and the causal body gets merged in the consciousness. That's the reason he doesn't have birth and death.
Yeah.
So this happens to whom? This happens to a normal person. Like I, you, I mean, the persons, I mean, a ordinary soul, after knowing the truth, after having self-realization, experience of consciousness, knowing that he or she is the consciousness, this is what is going to happen after the death. Now, what happens to these incarnations? Now, say Sri Ramakrishna is an incarnation.
Yeah.
Now, Jesus is a prophet or incarnation. So, Rama was an incarnation. Krishna was an incarnation. So, what happens for them? Yes, they do stay. In what level or in what sense they stay? One is that from consciousness point of view, if you see that there is only consciousness alone exists, if so, even in the form of consciousness, they stay. Okay. Now, but I'm a sadhaka, I'm a devotee. How much ever I say world doesn't exist, but still for me, it is only theory. It has not become the matter of fact or matter of experience. So for me, that means what? For me, the Ishvara exists. The creator exists. So that means even the Sri Ramakrishna exists in a subtle form so that he will take care of his devotees. Say, like, for example, I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, like, I've got some particular problem, I've got some particular, adverse circumstances. Can you help me? If I pray, definitely Almighty will answer, Almighty will help to come out from this problem. Yes. So in that way, if you ask me from the Bhakta point of view, yes, Sri Ramakrishna lives in the form of subtle form, no doubt. Whereas in the highest realm in the highest realm, they do stay in the subtle form, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is why, because in a common person point of view, what happens? Because once his prarabdha karma is destroyed, then there is no case for him to stay.
Yeah.
Because I and you take a birth because not of our will, because of helplessness. Whether you wish or I wish, we have to take birth till the God realization, till the self-realization. Whereas Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda, Jesus Christ, when they take birth, it is out of their will. They take birth. Because it is not due to because their karma they are taking birth, because to help the mankind, to help the humankind, to uplift the mankind, to show the path to the mankind, they are taking birth. So their taking birth and our taking birth, there's a lot of difference. It is not out of karma.
You know, when you're talking about the subtle body and the causal body, or maybe for totally ignorant reasons, but I'm inclined to think of the causal body. I don't know why I'm saying this, but that it's sort of like the unconscious, you know, that it's like what we have held from former. It's like when our thoughts come to us, you know, we don't you know, our thoughts arrive in our mind.
Yeah. Causal body can be explained as, for an example, there is an Atman, the Atman or consciousness. The consciousness is covered by a layer of ignorance, a thin layer of ignorance. That is what we say causal body. But the thin layer of ignorance is there. That is what causal body.
Would that mean then that every individual's causal body is the same? Because everybody is ignorant. That's why we're here.
You're right, yes.
Oh yes, but it's the mind, it's the subtle body that's sort of individuating in a way, you know, that makes us feel our individuality. But the causal body, and that goes back to the ignorance as the root. So the causal body is you know, is the root thing.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
Because of ignorance, I'm thinking I'm separate from you.
Yeah. So everybody's causal body is in the.
Everyone has got subtle body and causal body. Apart from physical body, everyone has got different subtle bodies and causal bodies.
Yeah, I would imagine the causal body to be different, not same as Dharmat is asking. So because with my sanskars and a little bit of tanmatra variations, whatever the thin layer of ignorance, that type and the variation and the material might be little different. So I would imagine, as Swamiji just said, even causal body wise, up to causal body, we are all different until it goes to consciousness. This individuality remains.
Yeah. So like
no, but I think causal body is same for everyone. Same thing, but we have got all different causal bodies. Like I have got different causal body, you have got different causal body. Dharmat has got different causal body. But if you see the nature of causal body, yes, it is same. Whereas the subtle body, in subtle body things can differ because
that's the individual thing. That's more like
because the individuality comes in subtle body, not in the causal body.
Yes,
and that can be understood very clearly when you sleep. According to the Vedanta, when you sleep, what? You are merged yourself, your consciousness, you are with the ignorance. You don't feel that individuality. So at the causal body level, you don't feel that individual. Only at the subtle body, you will feel that individual.
Yeah.
So when you explained last time something to do with the tanmatra remaining in a very fine form, so there is no difference.
See, tanmatras, again, it is something to do with the world, how this world came into existence. World came into existence from Panchabhutas. From Panchabhutas, how did they came into existence? The Panchabhutas came into existence from tanmatras. So from Tanmatra, where did it come? From Advaita, it is from Brahman with Maya. That's what we say. And from Sankhya, it is from Prakriti, we say. So, I mean, when we use this word, we have to be a bit careful and probably have to understand.
I know it's very
technical meanings of these things. I mean,
but
am I clear? Or you have got any still?
No, I'd have to think a lot about it. I'm a bit slow, but it's very beautiful in a way.
What about Malavika? You're clear?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but I just based on the analogy, I just want to ask that even there are stories that apart from avatars, some of the Jnani Purushas has the capability of taking rebirth. Like there is I heard this story from Swami Sarvapriyanandaji's story that Swami Ranganathanandaji said that I think two of the Guru Bhais, both of them are disciples of Swami Shivanandaji. So one, when he was Ranganathanandaji was president, he came and asked what would happen to me. He said, you will get a liberation, but I will take a rebirth because I have to do Swamiji's work. And he kind of gave some kind of precision that after so and so years, somebody will come as a brahmachari to Ramakrishna Mission, and like that, the story was elaborate. So the question is like, so did this kind of people, the Gyanis, realize to keep some little bit of desire to take that form? So yes. Out of your analogy of prarabdha, shonchito and agami karma, so the Gyani already burns the shonchito and agami. So from the present one, he keeps a little bit to come back in the next life.
Yeah. So he doesn't keep any prarabdha karma in store. Okay, let me have some prarabdha karma so that I can take a birth. No, he doesn't do that. Rather, he will have a desire. He will keep the desire that to help the people, to support the people, or to show the path to the mankind. Out of compassion, he would like to take a birth. So that out of compassion, the desire born out of compassion makes him to take a birth. So that will be not out of prarabdha karma. That is because of compassion born out of, desire born out of compassion.
So that will be from the agami. Like you said that all karma. So desire is a kind of karma. Will it not be?
Yeah. Here is a beautiful question again. See, because now for ignorant person, I am the doer and I am the enjoyer. I am the experiencer or enjoyer or sufferer. We have got that notion. But for Gnani, it is neither aham karta, aham bhokta. Neither is a doer nor is an enjoyer. That is very clear. When there is no neither doer nor enjoyer, then there is no agami at all for him. So whatever actions he does, it doesn't bind him.
Yeah.
Except for an example, Sri Krishna did so many actions in his life. Do you think that all that actions were binding him? So which is stored in his account so that because to fructification of it, to experience it, he should take a new birth? No. Because he was a Gnani, so that actions doesn't give any results. It will give results. That results will not bind him.
But in your karma theory, where will you place this desire? That is the question. I understand that you don't bind him.
It is a very, very interesting question. Philosophically very interesting question. This
very subtle.
Yeah. So desire is also a karma. So, but out of compassion only, the possible rational explanation is out of compassion towards the beings, they think that. But you cannot say that because of the karma only it is the possible.
No, I am not saying because of the karma only it is possible. So as it is a futuristic, will it be rational to put it under the locker of agami karma?
That's what I'm saying. See, the author makes it very clearly, the scriptures makes it very clearly. The moment you know who are you, the agami, the sanchita gets burnt or destroyed. Then there is no accumulation of good karma, fresh karma. That is agami. There is no agami at all. Only prarabdha is there. Once your prarabdha is exhausted, the Gnani has to leave and he has to either suffer or enjoy or experience or whatever. Once the prarabdha is exhausted, he leaves the body. since there is no agami, even while he was living in the present body where prarabdha was there, then itself there is no agami for him. Then where is the question of our next birth, or after taking next birth, where is the question of agami?
Yeah.
So
like,
here it doesn't come under the theory of law of karma. Rather, it is just out of compassion. Out of compassion towards the human beings, they take birth. That's all.
But it does lead you to sort of question compassion, in the sense that, is compassion like based on ignorance in a way? Because it's like you believe in the, even though, like, I mean, I think compassion is such an attractive thing, for a jivatman, for a jiva, like, I mean, it's the best of, it's one of the best things about the jiva, is it not? But like from a transcendental point of view, is it not really like that you're in some ways, maybe not. I was just thinking that, it's a desire, is what I never thought of compassion as a desire, but maybe it is a desire.
I mean, see, I'm not saying that compassion is a desire. Out of compassion, they take birth. That's what I mean to say. Now, see, here two things we have to understand. This karma theory, or the law of karma, or the law of effect of karma, it holds good only to the people who are in the duality, or in the, in the,
that are under
illusion,
in
ignorance point of view.
Yeah.
The people who are above from that, the people who are realized, for them there is no karma theory, falls into them.
Yeah.
It is very seen very clearly. If that is the case, then how did Shri Krishna take birth? Okay, Shri Krishna take birth out of compassion towards mankind. That means if then there is no agami or prarabdha or sanchita for him, then how did he feel? Or how did he think? Or how did he desire? So desire is one karma. If so, then how did he desire that, look, okay, let me descend on this earth and let me, help the people? How this? So here it is beyond karma theory. It is only out of compassion they have descended on this earth, and they are trying to lead the mankind or show the humankind. So that doesn't come under the karma theory at all. That's
Yeah.
And you see, when we say that we are compassionate, yes, we are compassionate, we help the people and all. But okay, like for an example, Dharmat, I'm really feeling sorry for you. I'm really feeling compassionate towards you. I would like to help you. Okay, I try to help you also. And you are thankful and you are grateful to you. After some time, there was a drift between me and you. Okay. Let God forbid, let it not happen. But because of something, there was a misunderstanding and there was a drift. Then my mind gets agitated. Look, when Dharmat was in a problem, when Dharmat was in a stress, I helped him to come out from the stress. I helped him so much. I showed love, compassion, etc. But now the way he's doing it is not right. So my mind is getting disturbed. My mind is getting agitated. If that is the case, then compassion is also a binding for me. Our compassion is binding for anyone. But whereas in these great people, what happens in the life of Ramakrishna, Jesus, or Buddha, or Muhammad, all these people, out of compassion, they help the people or mankind. But whether you like them, whether you dislike them, whether you help them, or whether you praise them,
they're
or
not touched.
Push them aside, whether you kick them, they won't get perturbed.
So
for them, the compassion is not binding, but for us, compassion is a binding, can be a binding. Because they don't have any results. They don't have any desires. They don't have any expectations like us.
It's you could think about it in terms of that the sacrifice of action and the fruits of your action. So they're not looking like for fruit of their compassion.
Yes.
So it's very pure. It's not like, it's not like more human forms of compassion. Yes. Put it that way. Thank you very much. Swami. Sorry for delaying.
You are always free to discuss and ask your questions. No, welcome. I'll be happy. Yeah.